My next guest has been running Big Heart Small City for the past 5+ years, I do believe. If we go by the count, is Jason Surette, the founder of Big Heart Small City. Jason, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, so let's talk Big Heart Small City. What do you guys do? I've seen your posts all over Facebook. You're very popular on the social media. So what is it that you guys do?
Well, we started back out in 2012 helping fire victims. So we're the only charity that rapidly rehouses fire victims after a fire, and we cover Greater Moncton, Fredericton, and Miramichi doing that. And plus, just this past year and a half, we started a bed donation program. So we help people in poverty and fire victims get back beds after when they need one. And we help people in other crisis situations, NB power issues and such things like that. So we keep busy.
Yeah, that's for sure. The bed donation program in particular is one that I know I've watched kind of on the social media. You guys, it's over 1,000 beds, I believe, last year.
Yeah, so we've been very busy with that. That's because we try to do things that no one else is doing when we see a gap in the community that needs fixing. That's where we step in and try to fill the need. And working over the last 5 years with fire victims particularly, that was one thing that no other charity was doing was beds. So we started that program, and we have a great partnership with Sleep Country. So when someone buys a bed from Sleep Country and they send it back for recycling, if the bed's in good shape, then Sleep Country provides those beds to us in Greater Moncton.
Wow, that's amazing. As we said, over 1,000 last year. So we're talking about a very excellent donation from Sleep Country. Not only that, that's a lot of beds.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's a great need we're filling in the community.
That's for sure. So you guys are kind of like filling the cracks that people might slip through, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're especially with fire victims being, Red Cross usually helps with 72 hours of support. After that, if we weren't around, then someone would become homeless after a fire if they didn't have insurance. So that's where we step in and provide that rapid rehousing support. So when someone has a fire, we work within that 3-day period to rapidly rehouse people, and that comes at a major expense. We work with landlords, but if the landlord won't provide a 3 month's rent or damage deposit waiver, then we have to step in and pay the rent and damage deposits so no one becomes homeless after a fire.
So that sounds like you say, and it's 72 hours, that's 3 days for the Red Cross, and then after that, there's just a massive amount of calls to try to get these people all figured out.
Exactly. Within that 3-day period, I'm pretty much working almost nonstop for 24 hours a day until I'm able to find housing for those people, because 3 days goes pretty fast, and you have to sometimes think outside the box to help find housing for people. And a lot of times it takes financial donations and funding to be able to do that.
So what, this question is going to be maybe a little bit naive on my part, but what propels you to do that for people? What drives you to do that?
Well, all my life I've done volunteer work. Ever since I was a teenager, I started volunteering at the Moncton Hospital. I volunteered with Moncton Police and Kodiak RCMP when the changeover happened. I've always had the need to give back. That's always been the type of person I've been. And then back in 2012, when I heard the gap in helping fire victims, when I first heard about this situation I heard there was organizations that help with clothing, furniture, clothing. But I said, what about a place to live? If someone has a fire, you're going to give them clothes and furniture, but if they don't have a place to put it, that's kind of putting the cart before the horse. So when I seen that, I said, that's the gap I need to, I thought that was just absolutely crazy. So I said, that's where I'm going to step in and start doing that. And as soon as Red Cross heard the idea, they said, that's amazing, because that's a definite need. We see people going homeless after fires. So, yeah.
That's when you jumped in. That was 5+ years ago. And
exactly.
here you are today. And in mentioning that, there was a post that you sent out last month, that said, look, if things don't improve, if volunteers don't come in and help out, if there isn't some more funds that can help out with this, then this will have to end. Yeah. And I understand things are going a little bit better now, but talk us through that period. How has it been the last couple of months?
The last couple of months was a pretty desperate time for us. We didn't have any volunteers for a bed donation program, so I was doing it all myself, lifting and lugging beds, which I'm not physically capable to do that, and it was caused me to go down in health. So then I had to put a stop to that because it was affecting my health, and so I had to put the word out there to say if we don't have enough volunteers or people to step up on the board of directors, then I would have to make that difficult decision to shut the charity down. But thankfully, when the news went out about that, we had some people in the community step up to volunteer. We had a few new board of directors step up. So now we're able to keep going, but we still need volunteers for the bed donation program. And some new news that we broke this week is we're getting an office. That's the first time in 5 years we're going to have an actual public office space. And running a charity, you want to do things to keep things as efficient as you can and keep expenses down as low as you can. But we're growing so much that the number one thing we want to be able to do is have a place for clients to meet us privately. We want to be able to have a place where they can come and talk to us about applying for a bed. We want to have a place where if someone wants to volunteer, they can stop in and talk to us and fill out an application form. And if someone wants to make a donation, they can come to our office and provide us with a donation. So it's going to help us in many different ways become a real charity in the city of Moncton. So.
Yeah, and there's a certain amount of professionalism with having office space
sure.
with this kind of thing that really helps. That, as you said, it's kind of a meeting place for a lot of people, but you know, it also allows you to be able to keep the charity part and then the private life separate. So you're not doing this out of a van, you're not doing this out of your house. You know, you do have that dedicated space to do the charity work.
Exactly.
You know, which is a big help as well in terms of the office. So you guys are excited to move in there as soon as you can.
Yeah, exactly. It's coming together really fast because when the news broke about us needing board of directors and everything, someone contacted us and says, well, you don't have an office. And they said, no, because we want to keep your expenses down. So we had we'll call the big heart angel out there that wanted to be anonymous, kind of worked out a deal for our office space so it's not as expensive as it normally would be. And that same person is arranging to have us donate all office furniture to us, a printer, an all-in-one printer fax machine, a large commercial one, for us to be able to print materials and forms and stuff like that. And then the only thing we really need to complete the office that we're not getting donated is a computer. So hopefully someone out there will hear this and help us with a laptop for the office. And other than that, we have everything else for that office. It's going to be coming in the next week or so.
All right, so that's excellent news. In continuing in progress, I know you said that there was no volunteers at all for a little bit. You've said you've gotten a few now. And the numbers keep climbing up as far as we know. With this office, this will be great to get the numbers even up further. Oh, for sure.
Now, the one gap that we have right now is we need more board of directors, and we'd like to see people step onto our board that have experience in grant writing, fundraising, and someone that has marketing experience to help put the word out there, because there's so many charities, I find, especially in the greater Moncton area, that we don't have the marketing power to put our name out there, and that's where we kind of fall down, where we want to put our name out there and talk to people about the work we do, because we do very unique things that no other charity is doing. So, and that's very important to us. So we hope that the public sees the work that we do and want to support us in kind.
Mm-hmm. Now let's, it's been a little while since we've talked about that. So let's reiterate. You say unique work that Big Heart Small City is doing. Let's have a couple examples of the unique work that we're talking about. We've talked about the bed donation program.
Yeah.
And what else?
Well, some of the unique things we've done over a 5-year history that I can talk about is just outside of Fredericton, there was a farmer a couple years ago that lost his house in a fire. He didn't have any insurance. He had animals on the farm, so he couldn't relocate. So the family contacted us and Red Cross contacted us to help him. But first I said, well, we don't build houses. That's just not what we do. We find housing for people. But in that situation, he couldn't relocate. So I said to the family, well, I'll put the word out on our social media page in Fredericton. I'll contact some media people in Fredericton, put the word out there, and we'll cross our fingers. We'll see what happens. Within a week, we had businesses in Fredericton and around the Stanley, New Brunswick area that stepped up. And within a month and a half, there was enough donations from businesses and people that volunteered time to build them a brand new house. And that just blew me away as something that our charity was involved in doing. And then just this past year, when we started our bed donation program, the one gap we had was delivering beds to people or picking up beds. We had to get volunteers to use their own vehicles to pick up beds, and a lot of people don't have transportation to be able to come pick up their own bed. So we had a donation of a used van to our organization, which made a world of difference for us to be able to deliver beds to people now and pick up beds. Mm-hmm. So those are the big things. And then in Miramichi, there was an apartment fire 2 years ago. 36 people were displaced from the fire, and they were all on social development and on low income. And I drove up to Miramichi and worked with the city of Miramichi, worked with Red Cross and social development, and all those people were housed within a week. We had those housed.
Wow, that's incredible. 36 people housed in a week.
Yeah.
Those are crazy numbers. That's just a sampling of the work that Jason Surette, Big Heart Small City, that you guys do. You can see the website there, bigheartsmallcity.ca is the place to go to get more information about what they do and get in contact with this guy and the volunteers associated with that. And the office opens up very soon, which is awesome as well. So Jason, thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you very much for having me.